In the Philosopher's Stone, Hagrid famously remarked that there's not a single witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin. But there are a few big issues with this statement. First of all, it's factually incorrect. While the vast majority of the dark witches and wizards in the wizarding world were indeed at one time Slytherin students, it certainly wasn't all of them. Second of all, many have interpreted Hagrid's statement to mean all Slytherins will become evil, when what Hagrid really meant was that all bad witches and wizards originated from Slytherin, which is also not true. I will admit that when you think about all of the evil in the wizarding world, it is certainly hard to distance your mind from the Green and Silver House. However, in reality, there are numerous other examples of bad wizards that came from, well, all of the other houses. Think about it. We had Pettigrew from Gryffindor, we had Quirrell from Ravenclaw, and from Hufflepuff we had the subject of today's video, a dark wizard so evil that many Slytherin wizards pale in comparison. Join me today as we peel back the layers of the most nefarious individual to arise from the Black and Yellow House. Let's dive into it. At the heart of Hogwarts School lies its house system, which sorts students into one of 4 houses, each with its own distinct characteristics, values, and traditions. These houses, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff, shape the educational experience and personal growth of every young witch and wizard who attends the school. Gryffindor, founded by Godric Gryffindor, is renowned for its bravery and daring. Slytherin, founded by Salazar Slytherin, is synonymous with ambition, cunning, and resourcefulness. Ravenclaw, founded by Rowena Ravenclaw, celebrates intelligence, wisdom, and a thirst for knowledge. And Hufflepuff, founded by Helga Hufflepuff, is distinguished by its emphasis on hard work, loyalty, and fairness. Hufflepuffs are known for their strong sense of justice and their dedication to their friends and duties. Each house plays a vital role in the fabric of Hogwarts, providing students with a supportive community that nurtures their unique talents and values. And together, they create a diverse and dynamic environment where young witches and wizards can grow and learn, each contributing their own strengths to the rich tapestry of the school. But one thing that set Hufflepuff apart from the others was her egalitarian approach. At the end of the day, she just wanted students to be educated, regardless of where they were sorted. I'll teach the lot and treat them just the same. And it's the commitment to justice and community of Hufflepuffs that truly sets them apart. While other houses may seek glory, power, or intellectual superiority, Hufflepuffs find their pride in their unwavering support for one another and their willingness to toil for the benefit of all. Which is why, over the course of history, they've produced the least amount of dark witches and wizards. In fact, there's only one on record. But before we continue, I just want to mention that only 29.7% of you are subscribed. So if you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Enter Eunan Blackwood. Eunan Blackwood is a name that sends shivers down the spines of those who have heard his tale. A dark wizard who emerged from the traditionally virtuous house of Hufflepuff, Blackwood's story is one of ambition, power, and a descent into darkness that defies the very essence of his house's values. Born Eunan Wood to non-magical parents in Scotland sometime in the 15th century, from an early age he sensed he was different. In an effort to fit in, he took up the family trade of hedge trimming. However, Eunan soon discovered he possessed a rare ability to control blackthorn bushes with his mind, and later used this talent to create intricate and elaborate designs, hoping to earn his family's favor. However, instead of embracing his unique gifts, the intolerant Wood family was infuriated by his magical ability. Eventually, Eunan received a letter of acceptance to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, which only further strained the growing family tension. Despite this, he attended Hogwarts and was sorted into Hufflepuff, a house known for its hard work, loyalty, and acceptance. At Hogwarts, Eunan met Artemisia Black, a witch from one of the most well-known pureblood families in the wizarding world. Despite her prestigious lineage, Artemisia was not a pureblood. She was the product of a casual fling between her magical mother, who bore the Black family name, and a Muggle father. Because the family strongly upheld their pure-blood beliefs, Artemisia was ostracized. Despite being shunned, Artemisia did not blame her mother for her half-blood status. She believed herself worthy of the Black family name and heritage. Instead, she harbored resentment towards her Muggle father, whom she saw as the source of her social exclusion. And at school, Yunin and Artemisia bonded over their shared frustrations with their Muggle parentage. Although Yunin had 2 Muggle parents, Artemisia saw him as an unwilling, innocent victim of Muggle impurity. Yunin's early years at Hogwarts showed promise, but it was a promise laced with an unusual intensity and an insatiable hunger for knowledge, particularly in the darker aspects of magic. As a Hufflepuff, Wood was expected to embody the values of hard work and fairness, yet his ambition and ruthlessness soon set him apart from his peers. His full backstory is detailed in the first entry of a 4-part series known as the Horticultural History of the Blackwood Maze. These notes, which tell the story of Yunin Blackwood, are hidden within 5 mysterious hedge mazes scattered across the Scottish Highlands. In the second note, we learn of a deepening friendship between Yunin and Artemisia, and while their magical prowess continued to grow during their time at Hogwarts, so too did their disdain for the Muggle members of their families. And eventually the flames of hatred began to bleed into Yunin's magic, with his once beautiful hedges starting to turn vicious and volatile. Fast forward a few years, and Yunin and Artemisia eventually married, joining their names together and becoming the Blackwoods, forever entwining their legacies and forging a dark path in the wizarding world. Curiously, they invited both their magical and non-magical family members to their wedding. It is said that Yunin's family would have avoided the wedding if not for rumors of Artemisia's substantial dowry. Unbeknownst to them, it consisted only of a single golden medallion bewitched with the Gemino curse. This curse, a twisted version of the doubling charm, could create an exact replica of an object, and so Wood's family, driven purely by their greed, ultimately decided to attend the wedding. According to A Horticultural History of the Blackwood Maze Part 3, Yunin's next chapter takes a very dark turn. To celebrate his marriage with Artemisia, Yunin created his most elaborate maze yet, claiming it was inspired by the Greek wizard Daedalus. The Blackwoods invited guests to search the maze, enticing them with promises of valuable riches hidden within. However, the witches and wizards in attendance sensed something was amiss, with many choosing to stay back and avoid the maze. Unfortunately, others were not so fortunate and never returned. Even Muggle members from their own family lost their lives that day in the maze. The specifics of their demise remain unknown. Perhaps the maze was so intricately designed that the Muggles lost their way and could never escape. Or maybe Blackwood's uncanny ability to manipulate the blackthorn bushes violently ensnared the wedding guests. Either way, this dark day marked the beginning of a reign of terror caused by Blackwood and his mazes. In the years following their wedding, Yunin and Artemisia continued to live in Stonehaven while the Blackwood maze remained, luring greedy Muggles to their deaths. It's been expressed that thousands of Scottish Muggles have been lost in the Blackwood maze since, blissfully unaware of magic and blinded by the greed induced by the promise of gold. Eventually, the Blackwoods had a daughter, Lysandra. As she grew, her parents became concerned, and in a cruel twist of fate, their worst fears were confirmed. Lysandra was born a squib, possessing no magical abilities. Yunin himself had been shunned by his family due to his magical talent. Artemisia was never accepted by the Black family because of her Muggle father, and now Lysandra was ostracized by the Blackwoods for her lack of magic. Because of this, tensions and frustrations grew between Lysandra and her parents, eventually reaching a breaking point when she was 16. One day, Lysandra and her mother had a particularly nasty fight, leading to her running away from home and seeking out a band of Muggle witch hunters. During this period in history, tensions between Muggles and wizard kind were high, with witch hunts and persecution rampant. Muggle fear and misunderstanding of magic led to widespread suspicion and violence. Wizards and witches were forced to hide their abilities, and magical families lived in constant fear of being discovered. Non-magical people, more commonly known as Muggles, were particularly afraid of magic in medieval times, but not very good at recognizing it. As the witch hunts grew ever fiercer, wizarding families began to live double lives, using charms of concealment to protect themselves and their families. By the 17th century, any witch or wizard who chose to fraternize with muggles became suspect, even an outcast in his or her own community. And so, with all love and affection for her mother long gone, Lysandra didn't hesitate in leading the witch hunters straight to Artemisia. Early one spring morning, they showed up at the Blackwood home, and by nightfall, Artemisia Blackwood was burned at the stake. But Union's whereabouts during this time still remains a mystery. We also don't know why Lysandra chose to betray only her mother, nor do we know why Union didn't stop the Muggle witch hunters. What we do know is that after Artemisia's death, both Union and Lysandra vanished forever. The malevolent maze that had claimed the lives of so many Muggles disappeared shortly after their disappearance. But this wasn't the last time witches or Muggles would encounter a Blackwood maze. They continued to appear in random locations, showing up only for a short time before disappearing as quickly as they had come. These mazes continued to trap unsuspecting Muggles and magical folk alike. And in the years that followed, wizardkind kept trying to make sense of the Blackwood mazes, which kept appearing hundreds of years after Union's disappearance. Herbologists eventually concluded that the mazes, wild and untamable, were still somehow tied to the dark will of their former master, the evil Hufflepuff, Union Blackwood. These mazes became an enigma, a haunting reminder of the darkness that once festered within a Hufflepuff heart. Magical researchers proposed various theories about the Blackwood mazes. Some believed the mazes were created with such potent and ancient magic that they had developed a life of their own, independent yet forever connected to Blackwood's sinister intentions. Others speculated that Union, in his pursuit of vengeance, had bound a part of his soul to the mazes, making them a Horcrux-like extension of his malevolent spirit. Efforts to dismantle or dispel the mazes were largely unsuccessful. Every attempt to understand or control them ended in failure, and many who ventured into their depths either vanished without a trace or were driven mad by the labyrinthine horrors within. Over time, the Blackwood mazes became the stuff of legend, their dark allure captivating the imaginations of witches and wizards across the globe. Stories of those brave or foolhardy enough to enter the mazes circulated in hushed whispers, adding to the maze's sinister mystique. The mazes became a symbol of the perils of dabbling in dark magic and the catastrophic consequences of letting hatred and bitterness consume one's soul. The tale of Union Blackwood and his mazes remains a cautionary lesson, urging future generations to stay vigilant against the temptations of dark magic and to uphold the values of loyalty, kindness, and fairness that Hufflepuff House truly represents. If you want to learn about more dark wizards that came from other Hogwarts houses, be sure to check out my video, 5 Bad Wizards That Weren't Slytherins, Harry Potter Theory. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.